All right, so welcome back, everybody. Well, actually, probably new people to the channel, but welcome to the channel. My name is Bob. I've got a couple of people here with me. I've got John, my top left. I got Dasha in the center, and I've got Nate on the right. Welcome. This is going to be a Descent into Avernus catch-up video where we talk about all the events that have led our characters to the point they're at in the campaign right now. If you've been watching to this point, which I have been getting quite a bit of views actually, and they're not all me, I promise. So they're quite a bit of views. I don't know where they're coming from.
We take
I've been meaning
turns.
to like make this a little more public, but I wanted to get some videos up there before I made an announcement or anything. So a couple of things before we get started. We are in the middle of, or we're very close to the end of our Descent into Avernus campaign. We have 2 sessions left. One is going to be on Friday, September 11th at 7:30 p.m. The other is the finale, which we're going to play as long as we need to, and that's going to be on Saturday, September 19th at 10:30 a.m. So we've got
Eastern
a
Standard
lot
Time.
Eastern Standard Time. So a lot of stuff happening in the campaign right now. Just we'll start there. Right now, where are we? John, why don't you tell everybody where we are in the campaign?
We were just in Bel's Forge, and Bel is quite scary. And we are heading down the river on our way towards the Scar, where Zariel's sword is supposed to be kept.
Yep, exactly. So the sword has been sort of the MacGuffin of this campaign. It is the item that everybody wants or thinks that they need. It is the sword that she used to use. And in the storyline, Zariel has long lost the sword, but then again, a lot of things are kept secret from her. The group is trying to get the sword because they believe it is the only way to either defeat Zariel and free Elturel, or if need be, cut Elturel free and get it back to the Forgotten Realms. And I think we'll go back now, all the way to the beginning, back to Baldur's Gate. Because remember, this is Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. That is the official title of this module, which sometimes people forget. But Baldur's Gate, that's where our campaign started. After seeing the demise of Elturel, your group was walking towards walking along the path towards Baldur's Gate, and en route you saw the big smoking crater where Elturel used to be. You found some demons and devils there, and ultimately kind of freaked you out. But when you got to Baldur's Gate, you were realizing that there was a lot of sort of an aftermath of the Elturel destruction. Lots of people were moving to Baldur's Gate, people that survived the event, I guess we could call it, where Elturel was scooped up and brought to hell. But people didn't know what was going on, and I don't think any of you knew what was going on at that point, right?
No, we just knew that there were some refugees trying to get into the city, and
Right.
it seemed like Baldur's Gate was trying to lock them out, and it was a pretty interesting time.
Yeah, and so you were commissioned by Captain Zaj of the Flaming Fist Guard. That was how this whole kind of adventure began. You were commissioned to track down Nate. Who were the people you were tasked to track down? You were just talking about them.
Yeah, we were given a license to kill. I
Yeah.
have in my notes Bale, Bane, and Merkel.
Yeah,
And
those are the
yeah,
gods, and you were tracking down the cultists of those gods. They were basically a secret organization in the city. And
yeah,
you can see my roll 20, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go through actually with these maps as well, because the maps kind of tell the story as we go through. So you had a lead, which took you to the Elf Song Tavern. Do you remember the Elf Song Tavern?
Oh, yes.
I do. Fine
Yeah.
weed.
Vaguely. I
Yeah.
remember Tim really wanted to kill some pirates.
He did.
That's
And I revealed disguised herself. I think Weird Levels
Exactly.
got kicked.
Yeah,
thought that was
you
the other
were.
tavern. Okay.
it. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what happened. I don't know.
There's a tavern on the boat.
This
I feel like I
was
viciously mocked somebody.
Yeah.
to
Well,
be
and I
fair.
think
This
in
was
Elsong
a
Tavern,
year ago.
In Elsong Tavern, we heard like there was like a song that was. You can normally hear someone singing, but we heard a different song about Elturel. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Song El Terrell. Nice. Yeah.
About the Hell
Yeah.
Riders?
Yeah.
Yep. This was the tavern that had the it has a like a ghost ghost voice singing to the patrons, and it's always like the same song, except this time it was retelling the song of the Hell Riders, which was kind of like their downfall, how they followed Zariel into hell to fight demons and devils in the Blood War. They got massacred, and Zariel fell, and that was kind of like the song being sung over the throughout the tavern. You were in the tavern. You were looking for I guess a, what's the word I'm looking for now?
Informant?
Yes, an informant for the Flaming Fist.
Was it the Van Thamper brother? Was he in here?
That's
No,
the other
no.
tavern.
That's on the ship.
The one on
Yeah.
Look at
Well, a woman, and I forget her name.
Yeah, for some reason,
Oh.
her name is escaping me as well, and I'm looking on the.
Oh, she jumped out the window and
Yes.
Yeah.
Eroviel. Oh man.
Yeah,
Shoot.
for some reason her name is escaping me as well,
We
but
almost caught her.
While we're listening,
oh yeah, that's right. We played the song.
sun burns on her ruddy cliffs and fields green and still. This land of long
I don't know how long we want to go. I
That
figured
was
that
beautiful.
was
That was good.
the song.
Almost as good as Dasha singing.
Yes.
The
Jurgen.
Did Dasha sing that song?
No.
No. I think Weir actually sang that song at one point.
Oh gosh.
There
Did
was
I
a
have to sing it? I think I had to sing a song at a
I think
certain
you
point.
sang it, yeah.
You
Yeah.
played it actually quite a few times. It was a piece of content. Yeah.
So you were looking for a woman named Tarina. She was the
Tarina.
informant.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Karina.
So Tarina was the informant for the Flaming Fist. She had been spying on the cultists, and once you ended up finding her, she proved to be a little bit kind of shifty, tried to run away from you all, but once the pirates that she had owed money to came after her, you defended her, and she gave you the information you needed, which led us to the bathhouse, which is kind of infamous in our group. The bathhouse was basically... yeah, the bathhouse, and it's funny looking at these maps because we did not play on Roll20 at this point, so we kind of did everything on the vinyl mat. But looking at these maps, the bathhouse was one where the group didn't know what they were going to get into when they were looking at the bathhouse, but it was the hideout of the cultists. They're basically their lair, and beneath the bathhouse is where all the trouble started. But before getting there, you ended up, I think. You scared everybody in the bathhouse out. There was only like a few other workers. You tied them up, put them in the closet.
Didn't
Yeah, it
Dobby
was-
like pay for a massage or something?
Oh yeah, no, Dobby. There's a reason Dobby is not here tonight. Like, yeah.
You think Andrew didn't want to show his face because of what happened here?
Dobby did not. Andrew did not want to recap this. That's for sure.
Didn't we just tie up some people, leave them in a closet? They ended up getting killed when we.
They ended up getting killed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tie up some people and put them in closets, and they got murdered. Yep, that is
Good
happening.
intentions. Good intentions.
There also was a massage purchased.
There was.
Yeah.
A massage.
There was. Truly,
Yeah.
yeah, there was. So once the bathhouse was cleared, they found an entrance into the lair. For you, you actually probably didn't know this, but it was called the Dungeon of the Dead 3, and it's infamous on message boards and all different sorts of forums for the Descent into Avernus book. I can't tell you how many posts that I heard about people saying that their party got TPK'd by the guy with the necromancy fireball in the dungeon. That's how Dobby actually died.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny you say that.
Yeah, so that actually that's like an ongoing thing with this adventure. There are certain parts that people felt were too hard, and this is one of them. This dungeon for level 1 or 2 characters can be very challenging. Although we had 8 players, so I assumed we'd be okay. We did lose one of us in the dungeon here. So the characters went into the dungeon. They only made it about halfway till they got fireballed by the necromancer, and Dobby ended up dying. Our gnome wizard ended up dying. So the crew made it about halfway through and had to retreat because of their injuries. So you ended up having a little side quest where you found somebody who can raise Dobby from the dead. We had a ritual that we had to do like a skill challenge for, and you ended up getting him back. which would have been fine with me if he had died. Honestly, he would have made a new character. It would have been something that we had to deal with. But I've enjoyed Dobby throughout the rest of the campaign, so it's nice that we got him back.
And he really delved down the path of necromancy since his death. So his time
He really
in the
did.
Afterworld kind of shaped what kind of wizard he would be.
Yeah, he really did. The Dungeon of the Dead 3 is where the story starts to change after you realize who was in here. Now, you guys didn't finish the dungeon, so, I had to think about what was going on there, because there's an encounter here with Mortlock Van Thamper, who you never got to meet, because Mortlock was the one of the brothers in the Van Thamper house, but Mortlock ends up getting killed.
You never
here.
ended up meeting him?
You found his body.
And we stuffed him in a closet as well, by the way.
We met the other brother.
Yeah, you met the other brothers. You met Thirstwell, who was in the mansion, who we'll get to in a little bit, and you met Amric at the Low Lantern, who was the on the pirate ship.
The guy we found dead, didn't we?
Yes.
No, Mortlock is the guy you found dead. I'm putting at him right now. He was the kind of the bigger of the brothers, bulkier. You never got to see what was in the rest of this dungeon, so I'm not going to touch more on this because we'll talk about that in a later video. But ultimately, you found Mortlock's body in the aftermath the next day, which led you to think the Van Thampers have something to do with what's going on with the cultists. Yeah. We tried to see what Amric was up to, and I think it was Colgath who tried to kind of play a game of chicken with him to see how much he knew. You started talking about his brother as if he were still alive, and am I right, Colgath?
Yes, that does sound right. Yeah. So we kind of tried to strong arm him, knowing we had his brother's body. We were trying to kind of talk about the situation, try to get him to kind of reveal some information that he didn't want to. That didn't work out very well.
The master of persuasion, our paladin.
He's quite persuasion's not terrible.
Your charisma's just
plus 5 to persuasion. Plus 5.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not great for.
It's half of what I have, but
it was probably
I love how much you
back then. Level 1 or maybe level 2 characters. Were we level 2 yet by this point?
Yeah, you were. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Level 2.
You were strong level 2.
Yeah, but he figured it out. But eventually, we realized that he didn't like his brother very much, so we tried to sell information on his brother's body's whereabouts for some information, and I don't remember if it was successful or not.
It was not. He kind of was on to you from the start, so he ended up fleeing the scene. You never really, you got to talk to him, but you never got to deal with him. You never negotiated anything out of him. He was very cautious when he saw the group of you come in. However, you did meet a very important NPC here, Rhea Mantlemorn, who was the Hell Rider in training, who ended up finding you down in the hold. I'm not sure what the term is for the ship, but in the bottom of the boat, basically. When you were snooping around, you found a devil. You found a spine devil that you've ended up killing there. But Rhea was important because she had information about El Terrell, and she kind of knew what was up. Rhea's one of those characters that kind of can give you a bit of an info dump, but at the same time, she doesn't know the whole story. So she's really, she's doing her own investigation. And you guys kind of paired up to, figure out that the Van Thampers were behind what happened in El Terrell. So the group ended up going to the Van Thamper Villa, which the Van Thamper Villa played a lot differently than I thought it was. You all, rather than sneaking in there at night or doing something, you went in broad daylight. You pretended to be a traveling minstrel troupe and tried to spy on them. Nate, you were...
I'm pretty sure I tried to do a lot of performance, persuasion, and deception checks at this point.
That was our finest moment, I think, in this campaign.
But yeah, totally blowing the I feel like I rolled an 8 for the performance, and she got disgusted with me.
Yeah.
For those of you wondering what we're talking about here, because I didn't set this all up, but the Van Thamper, the head of the Van Thamper household, Thalamra, who is the kind of the figurehead of the Van Thamper. She's been one of the dukes of the city. She's very influential politician. She has been plotting, as we knew, to mess with El Terrell and do the same thing to Baldur's Gate. So the group was onto them and started to try to sneak in and not sneak in, spy on what she was doing by pretending to be performers. And Nate could not roll well and ended up playing a horrible song. She ended up kicking you out of the mansion because she just had too much work to do to be bothered with the group. And you snuck in through the
Tables.
the stable. Exactly. Yep. So there was a secret entrance in the stable that took you down into the basement. So rather than going to the house, which is where I thought you were going to go first, because not that you have to, but the way that the book lays it out is that you go into the house first, maybe you sneak in at night, or you wait till they leave, and you go in and do some recon. You went into the dungeon, which is a training headquarters for the cultists. It kind of connects the cultists to the bathhouse, and it's a whole network of underground sewers. And you went into the bathhouse, into the basement of the villa, and you got into this crazy complex network of tunnels here. You ended up fighting devils. You ended up fighting proper devils at this point. You found some barbed devils in the shrine room to Zariel. And the cultists, you managed to kind of either kill some of them or, kind of sneak around stealthily, avoid them based on, the sounds coming through the pipes. And you ended up getting to the important part, which is there's a little prison here that was guarded by a bearded devil. There were two people. One ended up being not as important of an NPC the way that the route that we took, but one, Philaster Fisk. Do you remember him?
I vaguely do. Is he the one that ran away when we weren't watching?
That's the one that wasn't important. Philaster stuck with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Philaster was put into prison because he was doing something similar to what you were doing, spying on the Van Thampers. He thought that they were trying to do something devious, and he works for Silvira, who was the warlock in Candlekeep. So he was kind of on a spy mission as well. You ended up saving him, getting him out of here, and then fighting Thalamra, her son Thirstwell, who he ended up jumping off the roof of the...
Poor guy.
We're forgetting the
the whole
the cat thing we met. What was that?
Oh,
name?
Slobberchops.
Slobberchops was awesome.
What happened with Slobberchops? I missed him.
He was just the greatest winged cat beast ever. He ended up. I think he ended up helping you all.
He did.
Go unnoticed, or I forget exactly what he did, but he basically, could have blown cover of you all, and he was befriended by Christian, and
Actually,
he gave us a warning when someone was coming. I think
yeah.
Knew to hide.
Yeah, didn't rat us out and gave us a warning. Yeah, it was quite helpful.
Yeah.
Isn't this also the part where Tim tried to sell cabbages to the guards or beets or something?
Yeah, to distract them. Yeah.
Distract them on the staircase.
It was not Hex's finest hour, but
No. It worked somehow, I think.
yeah. So you ended up getting two things here. You ended up confronting Thalamra and Thavius Krieg, who was the former kind of figurehead of El Terrell. He had been hiding out here. He claimed that he was kidnapped, but you kind of saw through that. You ended up killing him and Thalamra, and Thirstwell ended up killing himself. Then you took two items from this place, which... John, do you remember one of the items? It was the puzzle cube.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that?
Do I hear what?
No? No?
The shield. Talking
Shield?
right now.
No? You guys don't hear that, do you?
The voices in your head.
We were looking for this puzzle cube, and I got extremely angsty as we were trying to deal with this man who killed himself, and we're going for it. So I just started taking my hammer and smashing everything. Eventually I smashed a chest that we had already looked in, and in the bottom of the chest there was a secret compartment, and I found a cube. And then almost immediately after, a shield, my precious, began speaking with me. And yes, we picked up a very interesting item. If you've seen our last, live play, the shield has now departed us, and it's definitely something Kolgath was struggling with for sure.
Yeah, and I enjoyed how much you reveled in making the group upset. because the shield would give you ideas, and most of them are really like, you know, I wouldn't say that they're always against the group, but they're very selfish things. The shield, who had a creature named Gargoth in it, really wanted to get back to hell and find somebody that could release him. And he obviously fed Kolgath some half truths and lies, and in order to do that.
Straight
So
baloney.
the group got really frustrated at points where Kolgath's actions kind of were supporting the shield rather than the group. But I loved that you role played it as, you know, it would corrupting power would do.
And when I took my my oath, took the oath of conquest, and a conquest paladin is one that is greedy and only goes for the gain of his own power.
Yeah.
So it was quite fitting. It was fun.
Yeah, no, I think you played it well. You know, even
wasn't much
though
role
Nate
playing
did
for
not like that.
Yeah.
I
It
think
felt
was
pretty
good.
natural, I think, for John.
Very natural.
The lust
Too
for
natural.
power.
Too natural. So that is that actually sums up really like the first chapter of this book. Once you get the puzzle cube and you ended up taking the shield, the story kind of switches. That was chapter 1 of the book, and we move to Candlekeep, which it's a short stop in the book, but it does have, you know, its own chapter dedicated to it, because this is where you really find out the devious plan that Zariel has worked up here, and that she is basically trying to fuel the blood war by taking as many souls into hell as possible. So she starts with the city that, you know, she once protected. She brings Elturel to hell, and you find out in Candlekeep that this is the plan. Once Silvira, the warlock, analyzes the puzzle cube, and you find out that Thavius Krieg kind of backstabbed the city. He kind of made this deal with her to give up the city after 50 years of basically peace and stability. So we leave to go to Candlekeep, and this is where you start to see more devils come in. You actually had devils tracking you down. They were trying to find the puzzle cube and the shield, but really it was for the puzzle cube. I don't know if that was clear or not, because you didn't really end up talking to many of the devils. You ended up just kind of defending yourself. But you,
all.
yeah.
We were murder hobos on the road. Yeah.
But once you did find out,
this campaign, not realizing that devils or demons were really like had personality.
Yeah.
You know, this is the first time. So yeah, kind of in retrospect, would have been nice to talk to some of them.
Yeah, you know, that's one. I know a lot of us, and the three of you were brand new to D&D, but you know, in the monster manual, if you just look at the monster manual, devils and even demons for that matter, they just don't really get that much attention. There's like, you know, they have however many entries in there, but they're all kind of the same. They all talk about how they're, you know, evil, and they're very just much shades of evil, and they give them kind of like a flat description, I think. So this book, and what most of the adventure books do, is they kind of flesh out that type of creature, or whatever the focus is. They kind of give it a little more depth. And in this case, the devils were, you learned that you can end up talking to them and make a lot of deals with them. Right, Dasha?
Oh yeah, all the deals, all the regrets.
Yeah. So
yeah.
once the Candlekeep section is over, you find out a couple pieces of information, some key pieces. You find out Zariel's plan, and then how to get to Avernus. You go to see a wizard named Traxagor, he's polymorphed into an otter. He's an otter for all purposes. He's a wizard, and he has a friend there that he doesn't know what to do with. He's been watching over her for some time, and that is another really key NPC, and that's Lulu. Lulu was, I think is the central NPC. She kind of takes over for Rhea at some point as kind of like your, I don't want to say guide, but she's like the character that can kind of nudge you in the right direction. She kind of takes over as that NPC eventually.
And she's so lovable.
Yeah, and I don't know how you feel about Rhea. We'll talk more about this in our recap when we finish this whole thing, but I think Lulu is probably one of the most beloved NPCs in any of these games that I've ran, because I've played a lot of these campaigns, and some of the characters are supposed to like, they end up falling flat for whatever reason, and the characters dislike them. Like, I played the Cole Curse of Strahd campaign. I ran that for a group, and Irina, who's like the main the main female NPC that Strahd wants to get. My NPC, my characters hated her. They like basically were ready to give her up to Strahd by the end of the whole thing. I don't know why. I tried to play her as like a confident, like capable, like character, not like just a helpless person. But she's supposed to be weak, so she ends up being more of a liability, I guess. But Lulu has surprised you all, right? What were your impressions of Lulu?
More powerful than she looks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's always enticing, the mystery.
Yeah.
Like a very powerful, but like almost sweet and innocent. It's like a 5-year-old who has a black belt.
Yeah.
She's very endearing.
And she kind of remembers getting the black belt, but doesn't really.
Yeah.
Kind of like has retained the skills, and they pop out randomly. And yeah.
She's never once taken a battle seriously.
Yeah.
Like, skill has been contributed a lot. It's like, if you took it seriously, we could all just sit down and you would just finish this battle.
Well, maybe she's going to start taking things seriously. She's this is crunch time here, so we'll see.
Well, I did want to answer an earlier question you had, Bob, about how you felt about Rhea. I guess I kind of felt like I wanted more from her storyline.
Yeah, I mean, you mean like more in the terms of like her role as a Hell Rider, that sort of thing?
Yeah, like we got to the city, she figured out some stuff, but really once we picked up Lulu, I feel like Rhea really took a back seat in the book. And I think maybe that's one thing. Like Rhea was like driving us along, like giving us the help to, we want to figure out what's going on with El Terrell. We want to try to save it. Like that wasn't originally our main goal, but Rhea brought us to hell. Like she was the reason why we tried to go. But as soon as Lulu gets in the picture, it's changed. I don't know. I feel a little bad for Rhea.
But
yeah,
to be fair, Rhea is very young and inexperienced, whereas Lulu knows Zariel. I don't know if we mentioned that already, but Lulu has this whole past with Zariel, whether she remembers it or not, and that's what kind of leads us, whereas all Rhea knows is El Terrell. And once that kind of, we figure out, okay, El Terrell is in hell, we need to save it, she just kind of stays back to protect, and I don't think there's any more she could have done for us. Just because she is really, like, young.
Yeah, she's like a 14 or 15-year-old, yeah.
Yeah. I think she was also kind of just, her character mold was just very predictable. Yeah. It's a very, like...
She's like a young Arya Stark, but you don't see the ending. Yeah.
But she never really made a mistake or like, there wasn't something mysterious about her. There wasn't something that kind of pulled me in, I guess.
Right. She is more of a straight and narrow sort of character.
Yeah, she was a straightforward character.
Yeah. Yeah, Lulu has a lot going on with her, and even more so, we're going to find out in the next couple of sessions. So, very excited about that.
Can we make predictions? I've had a prediction for a long time.
Oh, such a long time.
Yeah, actually, wait till the end. We'll do a quick round. Each of you can do a prediction.
Okay.
I like that, though. I like that. So, El Terrell is the next step in the chapters. It's the chapter 3. Once you get to El Terrell, to Hell, you find it, as the picture kind of shows here. It's a mess. It's literally on fire, cut in half. You have to kind of get your bearings of where you are in the city, figure out where the people are. You go to the High Hall, which ends up being kind of like the safe place for the people to go to in an emergency. So that's where you check, and you do find sort of a resistance there.
Wait, hold on though. You're just gonna jump over everything that happened in El Terrell?
I mean, the really crazy part was us dodging the bridge.
Drums over a giant chasm leading down to a battle of demons and devils.
Kolgath and Weir had like a really pretty special moment there.
That's true. Yeah,
one of the giant openings instead of taking a bridge. Paladin gripping halfling playing the drums. It was a beautiful.
In my mind, it was almost like Weir was sitting on Kolgath's dwarf, right? There's a halfling like sitting on his stomach while he casts fly on the dwarf to carry people back and forth. Yeah.
So
a lot of editing.
No, this is all going in. That's all going in. So this
for that session, I remember just hearing about it and being like, "What happened?"
That's
while I
right.
was gone?
You did miss that session. So
that's the one session I missed. I think.
I'm zooming in here, Dasha, for you.
Beautiful bridge battle. He had apparently. I mean, Bob, you want to talk about it?
You had like, religion checks ready.
Yeah, it was like this awesome. I really wish we did it. It was this cool set piece the way you described it, and we just like. Well, we'll just fly across on the other side. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, basically they completely avoided like a very cool battle that I had planned. And for all those memes where they show a DM and what they've planned, and then the players just like wreck it entirely, this was exactly what happened. There's basically a bridge that connects one side to the other, and you have to get across it. But our characters had some items and ability to cast fly, so they ended up bypassing this entirely. They're like, it looks like a heavily guarded bridge. Let's just go like here and cross over to the other side. So we ended up avoiding this really cool battle on the bridge where there were devils and a Narzagon, the dude on the horse. It was going to be there were cool runes in the middle of the bridge that you could have activated with like a religion check and would have done damage to the devil. It was such a cool premise. I drew it all out on the map ahead of time. It was, yeah.
I think the three of us should go back and try to do that bridge now as our like level 10 characters at this point.
Yeah, maybe
know.
the three of you, maybe.
Wait, are we 11? I don't even remember anymore.
You're level 10. You're level 10.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So we made it to the high hall. And in the
Yeah.
high hall, we had an encounter with a really cool piano.
Yes.
Weir played a wonderful song on the piano and beat back the like demonic presence that was starting to take over the piano. Every time you hit a note, expecting it to be one note, it would sound much more demonic. So we started to get bits and pieces of, El Terrell is changing because of its presence in Avernus. Weir did a wonderful job of saving that area, and then from there, we discovered a secret passageway down to a catacomb.
Yeah. So the catacombs led you to where the survivors were, and the survivors there were a couple hundred like civilians, some guards, but everyone was scattered throughout the city because it's not like they prepared for a battle or anything. It was like just the city was sucked down. So from the get-go, they were just under siege. Now the only sort of saving grace for El Terrell was that a demon army attacked from the River Styx at the same time. So there was this huge battle, which is the kind of like the Dungeon Master screen cover that you saw, demons and devils charging at each other. That was basically happening at the same time. And since time works a little differently in Hell, that battle waged on for like days. It's seemingly days in El Terrell. And you were able to kind of get through by only fighting some small sentries of devils, rather than fighting an army or anything like that. But you got down to the catacombs. You ended up seeing the survivors, and you learned that there was an NPC that you needed to meet who was kind of taking charge of the defenses, and that's Older Ravengard. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Older Ravengard is actually really cool. I like his character a lot. He's a minor role in the game, but he was cool for the time that you had him. So Older Ravengard went to see the old cemetery because there was supposed to be an artifact there that could give him some insight. The Helm of Tormsight. Who ended up taking that helm? I forget.
Michelle?
It was Pete, yeah.
Was it Michelle?
Sounds right.
Yeah, so the Helm of Tormsight was this big relic in the cemetery that's supposed to, give you guidance from the god Torm, which he tried to find, and ultimately that led you to the ossuary where you found what's his name?
That super nice dude with all his demon buddies.
His name is Gabriel. No.
Didn't he have dreadlocks?
Yeah,
Yes.
he did. Yeah. It starts with a G.
Gideon Lightward.
Gideon.
Gideon Lightward.
Gideon Lightward. Yeah, Gideon Lightward.
Oh.
Nicely done.
And actually, I'll bring up because Gideon's got such cool art here. But Gideon is basically a priest of the chapel there, the church, and rather than there he is. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Handsome
rather
fella.
than rather than helping you, you find out that Gideon's kind of been turned to the side of the devils. He actually is quite devilish himself. He's got these glowing red eyes. He's got claws, basically. So he's been converted. He's been changed. But he's fighting off demons as well. And you find out there are demons in the ossuary, specifically demons of Baphomet, the Minotaur god of chaos. So you end up having a simulation when you was it Stefano, I believe, Lucius, he touched older Ravengard and got sucked into that vision of the endless
Oh, yeah.
demonic hordes fighting against Torm and these Celestials, this big battle. You find out basically that there's he gives you more insight into like the Blood War, what exactly the Celestials do, and he really it messes both of them up. But really, older Ravengard is wearing the helm; he couldn't take it off, kind of messed with his brain. But anyway, so then the group comes back to the catacombs where you discuss what to do next. You're basically going to go down to Avernus to find the Sword of Zariel, hopefully before the demon hordes and devil hordes can take over the city.
See you, Nate.
I'm gonna hop off, but hey, it was a blast.
Yeah, no worries, Nate.
I'll see you guys very soon.
Yeah, we'll
Bye,
chat
Nate.
soon.
See ya.
Yeah.
All right, so once the group finds Ravengard, you know what you need to do. You need to go down and find the Sword of Zariel. You just don't know what to do, but you need to break free Elturel free in some manner. So you head down through the hot air balloon and hang gliders. You hover over the battle that you kind of avoid. And once you get into the actual Avernus, the plane of Avernus, is where Chapter 3 starts. And that's basically where we've been this entire time. Chapter 3 is the most wide and broad chapter where you can really go anywhere, do anything, which is where it gets a little complicated as a dungeon master because you got to figure out where you might be going, and it takes a little bit of efficient. You got to be efficient with the prep time. But once we got the hang of it and we kind of knew where we were going, it wasn't that bad. But really, it starts off with you meeting Maggie, Mad Maggie, the hag who lives in Avernus. She's a former warlord. She ends up going on a dream quest with you and
Didn't we
Lulu.
meet Max first? Didn't I give up my soul?
Oh yes,
We met Max in the city the first time.
You met Max right when you landed. Basically, he was kind of like the greeting person.
We had the
for
map,
you.
but we needed something to navigate because everything was changing around us and shifting.
Yeah.
So I think I don't remember. Did I summon him or did he just show up?
No, he just showed up, but you were the only one that willing to deal with him at the time. You ended up making that deal where you can get a Hellforged compass, which you didn't realize was drawing out your soul to power it. And in return, he gets an item to be named later, which we have not figured out what that is yet. So we'll find out
I
what
haven't
that is.
taken
soon.
anything of value that I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the devil aspect of this book is there's quite a bit on devil deals, but I think you've all been so wary of dealing with devils. It was just you really that one time, but maybe in this next session or two you need to make a deal. So we'll see.
I mean, let's just say I'm pretty sure I remember you signed the deal on the skin of an innocent person.
You did,
Yeah.
on the infernal
And was
wretch.
traumatized forever.
Yeah.
I remember was the last person that probably would make a deal if she had no other choice, or if she had a choice. But I think to save her friends, she decided it was worth it. And she was very careful, negotiating the deal, making sure that there's no loopholes. I don't think there's any loopholes. It seems airtight for now, but I guess we'll see if I miss anything.
So in the timeline, after you got down to the surface, you ended up finding Mad Maggie, and she kind of gave you a little bit of sort of safety. This was a safe place where you had some downtime. We did a downtime session where we had you had a week off basically. There was some hijinks at Mad Maggie's as well, talking with all the red caps that worked there and the mad caps. You ended up avoiding a huge, massive combat there. Or you had a little bit of a skirmish, but Mad Maggie didn't really seem to mind. She liked you all, and you helped her out, and you helped Mickey. So once you got through Mad Maggie, she gave you the Falcon, which was your war machine, which was really cool to see you guys use that. This session, or this whole area here, ended up being such a sandbox. You were able to go pretty much wherever you wanted. You kind of found a few things from the dream quest that you went on. You basically had a choice of 3 places to go. You can go to Mephistopheles at the Mirror of Mephistar, which is only Tim really wanted to go there. You could have gone to the Tower of Erm, where you could find Mordenkainen, which is what you ended up doing. And you could have gone to see Mad Maggie's cousin, Red Ruth, at the Bone Brambles. So you had a couple of options. You chose to go see Mordenkainen. I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think he's a very recognizable name. A lot of us know him from the storyline and stuff like from the D&D history and stuff like that. So I feel like that was not a bad choice. Rather than go see a witch or a devil, you went to see a wizard. So probably not the worst choice. You went to see him. He kind of gave you some trouble, though. What was Mordenkainen like?
I mean, he showed up and it wasn't actually him. Like, he didn't trust us. He
Right.
told us to go fight some other wizard that was, I forget like the way he framed it to us, but it basically ended up being us fighting a demon, I believe.
Yeah, he wanted you to get rid of this
showed up.
wizard Ubelux, who was just kind of messing with his plan that he had here. He said, I'm the wizard here, basically, and this guy's messing with my deal that I have with all these devil creatures, the Ugalas, that were doing his bidding. And he wanted you to take care of him, whatever it is, make him leave or whatever. But you find out it's really not a wizard. It was a Balor in disguise who was trapped there. He almost got you all to free him, but you kind of just the last moment figured out who he was, and that was a pretty big battle. I cannot believe that at what were you, 6th or 7th level at that time, you all killed a challenge rating 20 creature. So yeah, I mean the challenge rating is bogus in the game, so it's not that big of a deal, but I didn't realize how weak the basic kind of Balor was in this edition. I played in lots of other editions, and I always thought that they were like, you don't want to mess with the Balor. In this case, 8 of you were able to take care of him.
But I guess he was nerfed by being shape shift and kind of stuck in that area.
Yeah, he couldn't leave, move out.
Yeah, he wasn't like well rested or anything like that, but still, I mean, he basically was hit points wise. He was basically a Balor. You killed him though.
Yeah, I mean, we did very closely. Almost everyone died, or several people, including Euroville, if I remember, when he exploded.
Yeah,
I think
that's true. No,
we
he was
did
definitely a
make another-
deadly challenge. Yeah.
Was that where we almost made another deal with Max? Or we did make another deal, me and Tim, at one point? Or was that another battle?
I think that's a different death later.
Maybe later. There was a point where Tim and I both almost died, and Max showed up and it was like, do you need any help? And I was like, no. And then he showed up again, like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, we do need help.
Yeah. I don't remember what that deal was, though. What was the deal?
I don't remember, honestly. I remember that
Oh, no, Max did show up. I'm sorry. I have some notes here.
Was it this battle?
After we killed him, right, I put his skull as a hood ornament on our car, which I forgot about. And then Max came down and they talked about this Ubelux. He didn't get along. Why do you need Balor blood?
I
Max
remember.
says Mordenkainen sent you, and he said the Ballard blood won't work. You need more powerful blood.
Yeah.
Devil blood, not a demon blood. And then Max was thinking about trying to. We asked him if he was going to offer his blood. Nothing. And then.
I remember I owe him a favor now. That was the deal. Like, he was like, "Oh, I'll like save you this time. You owe me a favor." And then I think Hex also made a deal, but I don't know what that was.
Right. We had a private conversation. Yeah.
You guys off-screened it, so I wasn't privy.
Yeah. No, you're right. That was a private conversation. The one that we won't discuss here because no spoilers for the upcoming sessions. But so you were looking because Mordenkainen told you he knew if he had the blood of a powerful creature, he could find the sword for you. He can use his divination to find it. Ultimately, you end up killing the Balor. You end up going on to find another creature with powerful blood, and that was Archon. Archon is, for those of you who don't know, he's portrayed by Joe Manganiello, the actor. He's a dragonborn paladin who serves Tiamat. Tiamat has been trapped here in Avernus, and he would love nothing more than to get her out. So he makes a deal with you. He will give you the vial of Tiamat's blood, which will definitely be powerful enough to conjure up the spell that Mordenkainen needs. In return, you are going to kill Zariel for him. That way, with Zariel gone, Avernus having no leader, he would be able to use his undead army to free Tiamat, is basically the deal you made. Which maybe you'll be keeping that deal, maybe you won't be. I don't know how you're going to deal with Zariel at the end.
We've made multiple contradicting deals at this point, I feel like, with various characters.
Quite a few. We've passed some deception checks along the way.
Yeah. Now, this is where you've met Zariel for the first time, actually. Zariel appears. She had a spy. You had a secret, a group secret at the beginning of the quest that we decided you had killed, whether on purpose or accidentally. It was kind of a little undefined at the beginning, but you killed a noble in Baldur's Gate. You were kind of like hitmen. You killed him. You didn't mean to kill him, but you did. And
Supposed to
he,
kidnap him, yeah.
as a devil, tracked you all down and not betrayed you. He ratted you out to Zariel. He was following you. Actually, there's a couple of things that we missed out in here. There's just so much that's happened in this campaign, but you did end up going to the Wandering Emporium. You met a bunch of different creatures at the Wandering Emporium. You went to see barbers, weaponsmiths, so many different people at the Wandering Emporium. The spa, remember that? The spa.
The demon
Where's the
larva.
Wandering
I
Emporium?
do remember
Here
the
it is.
spa. I mean, before that, we killed someone, Eliza, who was sent after us. Yeah, then I dealt with some tiefling who was after my shield. We killed him later. We
Yeah, you
got
found out that the tiefling was spying on you for the noble that you killed,
Yeah.
who ended up telling Zariel your whereabouts. It ended up being quite a bit of busyness here at the Wandering Emporium, but this was actually a really fun adventure because it was not the typical, you're just traveling and finding things to fight, and you ended up having a lot of fun downtime in here as well. So just to kind of bring everything up to where we're at now, once you ended up getting the location of the sword, you started to head there, and you had a couple of bumps in the road getting to there. You ended up finding a wasp of hell, or excuse me, a nest of hell wasps. Lulu got kidnapped. You had to go find her. You ended up bumping into Bell's forces, who then brought you to Bell's Forge. And so ultimately, you have gotten to the point where you're ready to find the sword, which is in the Scab, which has been talked about, but you've never seen it yet. Basically, a large open wound that was created that covered the sword. You also found out from Bell that he's also been hiding it from Zariel. He kind of used some magic to keep the location of the sword a secret. So I think I must have forgotten some other things because I'm looking at these maps and I see some other maps here. Let's double check.
I think the only thing you forgot was meeting with something. What was his name? The knight that used to fight for Zariel.
Olanthius, yes.
Mm-hmm. Olanthius, yeah.
Yeah, so you found out where the sword was. You basically found out who could tell you where to find the person who could tell you where to find the sword. So you talked to Mordenkainen, then you went to talk to Olanthius. So Olanthius is like a general of Zariel's army, and he's a Death Knight currently because Zariel has kept him alive. He's undead. But this is where you found Olanthius, and I really like this adventure too because it gave you a insight and background to the Hell Riders more so than Rhea could tell you. And you realize that even though they are ghosts, they are really tormented, and they did not want what happened to Zariel to happen. Her fall, her descent.
I really enjoyed this part. It really did make it feel more real. Like Zariel's we just knew Zariel as the current evil leader. Like this really showed the struggle that she had when she tried to fight back against the forces of hell. I really thought this put a lot of pieces together. This was one of my favorite battles. It's fun.
Yeah, when we were planning this, when I was planning this session, because there were a couple of choices. Obviously, you could have gone to see Bell, who ended up finding you anyway, but under different circumstances. It was a totally different reason that he ended up finding you than just like Zariel's stuff. But you could have gone to see this other person, Haruman, who you didn't go see. But there were options that you had, and I'm glad you went to this one. I actually really liked this one because it does show the other side of Zariel. You get to know a little bit more about her without it being like just an info dump either, because it's like you exploring this temple is kind of like what gave you the insight. Olanthius really didn't say all that much to you, except he made Kolgath promise to redeem her rather than kill her.
Try to redeem her.
Sure.
That's the words that I said, to try. to redeem her.
Sure. So that's what he's going to expect. He's going to expect that you're going to redeem her.
All right.
So a couple people want you to kill her. A couple people want you to redeem her. And some people have some surprises for you when you get there. Belle obviously told you, when I need you, I'm going to call on you. So we'll see what goes on. But that's basically how we got here. I definitely miss in a campaign like this where we played for a year, it's hard to go over every piece of information. But I think this basically gives us a summary of where we're at.
Yeah, this works.
So.
Just a couple of things that stuck with me that were fun to talk about. Just, I think you did such a great job. The Mad Max scenes of us, riding on our car through the desert and fighting pig men, and there were definitely some really nice, interesting highlights along the way.
Yeah,
some spice to the game.
Yeah, things that don't really affect the story, like Raga Draga, the pig guy you were talking about. That was just a fun encounter in the book that I kind of made my own. But it's, there's lots of little stuff like that in the book that we didn't get touch on. The feel for the setting and what it's like. And I really enjoyed running this campaign. I've loved all the ones that I've ran in the 5th edition, but this one has been pretty cool. It's very different than the other ones I've ran. So. Did you have any predictions for where this is going to go?
Oof.
Nate had a prediction, but he left.
I know, right? He left. Yeah, we're never going to hear his prediction.
I think one of his prediction was that, like, when he said that, because I think we were talking about Lulu, and he said he had a prediction. I was like, what if he thinks that Lulu is somehow Zariel? Like they're the same person. I don't know why I thought of that. I don't think that's real because we have actually seen the real Zariel, but there's so much we still don't know about Lulu. I feel like we're about to unlock like everything somehow. And like, what if she's not so nice? What if she's evil? I'm really scared she's going to turn out to be evil because I don't want her to be because she's so sweet.
I think, I don't know if evil is what I was thinking, but I think she is a humanoid. And I think at some point she's going to like come out of this like stupor and get her memories and be like, Zariel's friend again, like a humanoid. And she might try to plead with us to save her. I don't know. Zariel's pretty strong. We did forget the fact that she like one-shotted a adult white dragon.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was adult or young. I think it was young.
Okay. Well,
it was still like large creature. It's a formidable dragon. Yeah. I think the most challenging aspect right now for the group is the fact that there's no time to rest.
Yeah.
So, because basically you're on the part of the campaign where there's like a ticking clock. El Terrell is basically being invaded as we speak. You are trying to find the sword still. You don't even have it. Then what do you do? How do you even get to El Terrell again within the time? Like there's a lot to have to happen in a short period of time. So there's really no time to rest. Yeah. So that's the tricky part.
My prediction for Irodo is that she's going to die. I think she's kind of gone too far and she's lost her soul at this point. But also she has that arrow of slaying that I forget who gave it to her. But I feel like that's going to be used on Zariel and then she'll die, maybe. I don't see this ending well for her. She's already been corrupted too much.
Interesting.
See? I don't know.
We can see.
So
everyone's noticing like, you're not the same as you used to be. You used to be nice. Now you're weird and creepy.
Yeah.
But I think still only Lucius knows that she has fully like thrown up her soul.
Something is going wrong here. Yeah.
No one else explicitly knows that that's a thing. I'm sure they suspect.
All right, so this short little recap video ended up being an hour almost. So we'll stop it here. But I appreciate the two of you and Nate for coming on and chatting about the campaign. Right now we this caught us all the way up to the current episode 4. So right now you're ready to watch episode 5. But maybe I'll put a quick little timestamp at the front. It says if you're watching before episode 1, stop here, that sort of thing. So we'll do that. But yeah, this would catch you up. So if you're watching this in anticipation of session 5, this will catch you all up. Otherwise, don't watch from that timestamp. But anyway,
definitely big spoiler alerts on Avernus. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, big things have happened on the stream in the last couple of sessions. So, all right. So thank you all. I'll see you soon. See you Friday. And if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and you can hit the bell for notifications whenever I go live with a new video. Thank you again. We'll see you all on the tabletop.